Welcome to Mother Nurgle. Today we are going to talk a bit about Nerdspeak. Because a few weeks ago Tembo made the very first episode of Errant Academy, and she had a bit of trouble with the language. A brush became a pencil, and that's a language thing. A brush in Danish is pencil, and she just couldn't remember the right word. And she talks about breasties instead of breastplates or power armor, and of course a figurine instead of mini, and demolding. And be aware, you should demold your mini if there is in fact mold on it, but it's probably a good idea to also remove mold lines. And words like mold line or Primark or Tau, Battlesuit are all words connected to this hobby of ours. It is a lingo, and it also includes abbreviations like GW or up. Of course, that's a word used in many subcultures. Or knits, short for tyranids. That is Nerdspeak. That is a language connected to a common activity among a group of other professionals, or like us, a bunch of wargamers. It makes it easier to have a conversation about the thing we're doing. And from an outsider perspective, it sounds like nonsense, right? But it is fairly easy to decipher if you read a bit about it. That is easy, but somewhat easy. But if you go a bit further, then there are all the shared references to movies, songs, games. For an example, someone bought a new computer and it is somewhat slow, and then one can say, well, didn't it come in red? And we will all know what that is a reference to. Or we're watching a TV show, watching the first season, and then we're discussing, will there be a second season or will it be cancelled? And then suddenly someone hums, "You can't take the sky from me." And we all know what that's a reference to. Or Errant has done the dishes, and I walk through the kitchen and suddenly exclaim, "Heresy!" And Errant knows that what I mean is that he has magically defeated the kitchen. And yeah, those references are harder to decipher if you're an outsider. And I believe, by my experience, that newcomers tend to just laugh and smile, to not be marked as an outsider, a stranger. It is somewhat embarrassing to not know what people are talking about when they make inside jokes like that. Yeah, it can really mark you. So you smile, you play along. That's how you do it, right? And hopefully after a couple of times you get the point, or they'll be kind enough to watch that movie with you and suddenly you get it. Yeah, but there's one step further, you know. There are the subculture level, and then there's the let's call it group level, instead of just among all wargamers, or there are among a group of wargamers. And that language is shared experiences, references to shared experiences, where a word or a sentence can trigger a shared memory of something. And of course that is completely impossible to understand if you were not there when that happened. I have in our group, among the crew, there is a saying, I still don't know what means. We are inside talking and suddenly someone says, do you hear a fan? And then everybody goes out to smoke. And as far as I can tell, it's something about a giant fan hitting you and killing you if you don't leave to smoke right away. I've no idea. And they all say it, they all react to it, and I admit, I have even said it in the past. You can even say shoo, 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 and everybody will know what it is. And I think stuff like that happens in all knit-tight groups. It is a marker of how well you know each other. It is a reminder of shared experiences. Another example, and I know this is kind of weird, when I bring Errant coffee in the morning, I say "rah," and he answers "oh, oh." And the reason for this, I will not bore you with an explanation, but it has something to do with the meaning of thank you, or in Danish. So let's not go there, but it's a great example on how a private language can exist in small groups. But it exists on larger scale too. I can say, which I'm pretty sure I did, to Tembo in one of the battle reports, you have the best words. And all our viewers will know that I am referring to a speech made by an old man with weird hair. So it's not just a subcultural thing, it is how we as humans mark ourselves as a group. So is this a problem? Well, I love group talk. I love the inside jokes. I like the feeling of belonging, of connection. I love how it makes me feel smarter instead of just telling a joke you read in some magazine. It's like humor on another level. It feels more intelligent, it feels more personal, it feels, well, right. And I love that. But from a wargaming community perspective, it might be a problem. A few days ago I made an Instagram update on Errant Painting's Instagram profile saying the return of the king. Errant was back home from the hospital and it seemed a proper update. And that of course is a mainstream reference these days. And even my grandmother would understand that one. But when we as wargamers mainly use subcultural references, it can be quite hard to recruit new members if we are not aware of this tendency to do so, if we don't want to be excluding. I'm not saying we should stop doing this. Actually, when I first met Errant and the crew about 6 years ago, their inside jokes was part of what I was attracted to. They seemed close, and they seemed like fun and intelligent people and nerdy as hell, but but who cares? I loved it. But they took time to introduce me to the movies they referred to, or the podcasts, or the games. They were inclusive, and of course they made new sayings and new jokes and new language, which I was part of. And it is a group with a very living language. New words are being made all the time, new jokes. So I felt at home within months. It was actually a very welcoming group to get to know. And I think it is important for us as wargamers to be aware of these subcultural tendencies if we want more wargamers in our community. If we want to be more mainstream, I'm not sure we do. Or perhaps we just want more recognition but still want to be exclusive. I don't know. But at least it is something, it is interesting to think about, and something we should perhaps be more aware of. I don't know. So let me know. Do you have your own language with your friends or your group, gaming group? And do you feel included when you read up on wargaming in forums or magazines or hear podcasts? Do you get the references, or do you feel like an outsider? Let me know. Have a nice day.